Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew Shorts. Today, I will be reading from the rSlash JUSTNOMIL subreddit, so let's jump into it. Mother-in-law sent my husband $20 and a sympathy card. My mill doesn't like me. I know it. Everybody around me knows it, except my husband. He isn't so sure. He thinks she might just not know me very well. Well, I think his mind is changing ever so slightly. When he brought the mail in today, he told me he got a card from his mom. It's not his birthday or any other special occasion, so it was a little weird. He opened it with me watching. When he took the card out of the envelope and opened it, out fell a $20 bill. The card itself was a sympathy card. Inside, she wrote, "I know how hard losing the life you loved must be. I hope you can pull through these difficult times without the support you should have." What was she referencing? Well, I quit my teaching job last fall because my school was requiring in-person learning, and neither my husband nor I felt safe with me returning. That was acceptable because Mill didn't want her son catching COVID from me. What isn't acceptable? I rode horses competitively from age 7 through college. I sold my horse when I graduated college because my parents weren't paying for anything anymore, and I couldn't afford it on a teacher's salary. About 2 months ago, an old friend who now owns a stable called and let me know she needed a trainer and day camp coordinator for her beginner riders. I jumped at the opportunity because I could be in my happy place while making some extra money. I ended up falling in love with a young thoroughbred gelding who had only raced a handful of times, and my friend was planning to retrain as a hunter. My husband surprised me with him for my birthday. This is why my mill sent the sympathy card. Apparently, me working at a barn and having a horse is akin to a tragedy like death. The $20 was the icing on the cake, because obviously I couldn't be fully working off his board or covering all the expenses with a little bit left over. Best send her son a sympathy card. My husband was puzzled by the card and called his mom. She ranted and raved about the situation to the point he hung up on her. At least we got $20 out of it. Oh boy, if I were OP, I'd definitely be using this to my advantage. Every time Mill decides to be a hag, I'd ask for $20. And if Mill asks for what, I'd say, well, that's what you did last time, so I thought that's just what you do now. We spent the last $20 on the horse. He says thank you. Also, in case you guys didn't notice, this is the same mother-in-law from this video, where she tells OP and her husband that she's coming with them on their honeymoon to Disneyland. Then OP's husband changes the dates and doesn't tell her. I'll link it above and below if you want to hear that one. It's hilarious. Mill's proof that I hate her. The name thing. This happened after Hubs and I started dating. I'd met her a few times, went and visited with Hubs to their state, and Hubs and I had been together for nearly a year at this point. For the entirety of our relationship up to that point, she knew my name. It's not a hard name. Let's say my name is Ashley, for example. Mill has always known my name and called me by my name. Out of nowhere, literally almost a year into our relationship, she calls me Amber. The first time, I just stared at her, didn't say a word, and waited for her to correct herself. She did, after a moment, and I figured, okay, well, mix-ups happen, and moved past it. On the way home, I mentioned it to my husband, future husband at the time, and told him I'm sure it was an accident, but I'm putting it out there that if this started feeling like a pissing match for her, to try to show some weird authority where she can call me whatever, that I'd gladly return the favor. I also pointed out that Mill has chosen to call my sister-in-law, my husband's brother's wife, by a name that is not her actual name. Let's say her name is Marilla, Mill calls her Marilena. And while sister-in-law is literally unfazed by anything and doesn't mind being called a random-ass name, I'm not dealing with it. My husband said he understood, thanked me for letting him know, and though he's sure it was an accident, he will watch out for it. Then she did it again, called me Amber. I let it go. 2 times can be a coincidence, right? I let my husband know. He just eye-rolled me. FYI, he was never a just no significant other. I really think that in the beginning, he still wanted to not believe his mom is petty AF. It was that point I realized that the name mix-up only happens when my husband isn't around, which could still be a coincidence, right? Then she messed up, y'all. We sent sister-in-law's kids, they live in the same state as Mill, some Christmas gifts, and sister-in-law always records a video of them opening them and saying thank you. Well, Mill was at Syl's house during the gift opening, and she called me Amber again on video. That was it for my husband, and I think that's what got rid of any lingering fog. I told him I could handle myself if he'd like, but he insisted he'd handle it. Okay, boo, do your thing. So he called Mill, told her he knows she's been slipping and calling me a different name, and to cut it out. He told her it was caught on video this time around, and that he doesn't care if sister-in-law lets Mill call her by a completely different name. But that's not flying with us, and she needs to use my actual name. The name she had no issue getting correct up until recently. Mill defended herself by saying that her special name for sister-in-law is just something that's stuck, and it's their special thing. My husband let her know that's cool, but even if that is the case and sister-in-law doesn't mind being called something that isn't her name, she does not have that kind of relationship with me. And acting like she can't get my name right after a year of us being together and her knowing me is just rude and disrespectful. I have not been called anything other than my name since. I will say that I received an apology the next time when I saw Mill in person. She told me her son got upset with her and that she didn't mean to call me Amber. She explained that with the video, she had just been talking to Syl, her daughter, about an Auntie Amber and got our names mixed up. Like I said before, I've dealt with many JUSTNOMILs in various forms at this point. I smiled and told her, "Oh yeah, husband mentioned he spoke to you. It's so sweet that he's so protective of me. I haven't heard of Auntie Amber, but thanks for the apology." Have I mentioned that Mill is a terrible liar? Like, she can lie straight to your face and not mess up, but she never makes sure that her story can't be easily fact-checked. So, we went to visit sister-in-law a few days later, which she was aware we were doing, and I, of course, casually brought up how it was all a misunderstanding, and mentioned how Mill explained that she and Syl had just been discussing Auntie Amber, yada yada. Syl looks me dead in the face and says, "Who the hell is Auntie Amber?" This name situation was really the first of many little passive-aggressive things she's done, and the first time I laid down a boundary for her, relayed and enforced by my husband. Mill is not used to boundaries and or being corrected. To me, this was something small and a very reasonable boundary. Just use my actual name. I love when people such as Mill play the victim by saying they have to walk on eggshells around you. It's like, no, I just don't dismissively put up with your rude behavior and call you out for it. I'm so sorry you are forced to treat me like an actual human being and not like someone who's beneath you. Good old mother-in-law manipulation tactics. They sure have a lot of them, don't they? But anyways, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed those 2 JUSTNOMIL stories. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!